I think the concept of identity, and we actually really focus on talking about identity resolution, because it's really about the science, and there's a certain level of art to it, but heavy science about stitching together both full pictures of people and or households. And why does that matter? Well, listen, every marketer is working towards some level of more growth, performance, personalized experiences. And in a world of media and marketing, which is as fragmented as ever, and that's not going away, the commonality that allows you to create a seamless infrastructure, or seamless experience rather, is an identity resolution infrastructure. And so too often I think it gets talked of as just the pipes, but having an understanding of real identity allows you to go from planning to figure out who are my customers, and then start to think about who would I want to reach, doing really sophisticated modeling to find the people that are actually going to drive growth, ultimately through to measurement. And if you don't have some consistency of what that underpinning is of who those consumers or households are, you lose the ability to be really confident in your marketing strategies. And so we think identity resolution is a fundamental part of being a bold, big marketer.
What are some of the maybe 2 to 3 issues impacting identity today?
So a big factor of what people talk about when we think about identity resolution and why it's challenged is the fact that there are so many different devices and landscapes of which I want to find my consumer. And so it is a big sausage making exercise under the hood of how do I stitch together different device signals, different platforms, the open internet, closed systems, and how do I bring that all together? It turns out there's a lot of work under the hood there, and it takes sometimes too much time to get data where it needs to go. Sometimes there's too much loss. Sometimes it's too expensive to make all this happen. So one of the things we're really focused on is what is the next wave of that superhighway of data, if you will. And we're really focused on making it easier, making it faster, making it more configurable. Again, this all leads to better marketing if we can do that easier. And so I think those are some of the things that most marketers and our partners, technology and publishers as well, when they talk to us, they say, can we make it faster? Can we make it easier? Can we reduce some of the tax, both operationally and economically? We think the answer is yes. And so we're working on those things.
Is there an offering or a program you're putting out there this year that does any of those things?
Yeah, well, we've been in market with a lot of these tools. Part of our job is to continue to do a better story, let the market know that we're available, that we have these capabilities to be the identity resolution partner of choice. We believe we know we put the capabilities together. What we're really focused on is, again, where does the market move? And so we talk a lot about transparency. We talk about identity resolution configurability, the difference between someone that wants to have an audience built for targeting, maybe on a low CPM, where I'm up for lower fidelity matches, versus targeting on a high CPM environment where I really want more accuracy. The difference between a programmatic display ad, which is individual, versus a streaming ad, which is the household. And then get into measurement, where I actually want to really know that the exposure to outcome mapping that I'm doing is really, really accurate. So we have the solutions to do that. What we're really working on right now is stitching them together into a set of interfaces and APIs that makes it easier to access simplistically. But from a product launch perspective, we're not going to launch anything new. We're going to do a better job of telling the story of all the things that we've acquired and put together over the last several years, but that's here and available for market.
And their new technologies are helping this, obviously. Like, how does AI play a role?
Yeah, well, specifically, there's I think 2 dimensions. We say AI, I think we should break it up into 2 big macro component parts. One is the machine learning algorithmic components of AI, which is something that we've had as part of our stack forever, right? A fundamental part of our data science is using algorithmic machine learning technology so that we can find patterns that humans would take too long to find. So that's been part of our solution set forever. I think certainly the heat on AI gets into the generative AI, the large language models, right? Using a chat GPT or otherwise to speed creativity, speed exploration. And that's exactly how we're now building those tools as well, which is on the front end. If you don't, how do you make it so a non-data scientist, a layperson who is a marketing strategist, can come and write the correct prompts, discover new audiences, find trends in performance that you wouldn't have necessarily seen by asking smart questions, i.e. prompts. And that's something that is a huge part of what we're building so that the front end gets faster and faster for our customers.
What are you excited about in the year ahead?
Yeah, I think for us, the thing that's really, really cool is that pretty much all parts of the ecosystem now are on the word identity, and that's a plus and a minus. Again, so our core message is, again, identity resolution is a strategic foundation to big, bold marketing. right? And we're really trying to continue to say there's a way to take out the complexity of this, that you can be anchored on identity resolution, you can be people-based marketing, you can do people-based marketing without all this hard work. We can make this more easy. And what we're doing is talking about how with the cloud infrastructure and how you can be more native to the cloud, how you can do that, how focusing on use cases, on knowing your customers, creating good segmentation, doing measurement, how the link of an identity resolution across all those things is actually key to good marketing. So we're excited about telling that story. It's resonating with a lot of the companies that we're talking to here in Cannes. It's resonating with a lot of our clients. And I think we're finally starting to find our voice and present to market a solution which makes sense, but has been certainly taken a lot of work to architect, but I think we're ready to give it more sunlight, if you will.